JBN, we keep you informed. Man killed in shootout with police in St. Andrew South community. A man was killed after he reportedly engaged the police in a shootout on Coburn Avenue in the St. Andrew South Police Division. He has been identified as 20-year-old Neil Anthony Clark. The incident happened about 10:20 Monday morning. Senior Superintendent Wayne Cameron, head of the St. Andrew Police, said the cops were responding to reports of gunfire in the Coburn Avenue area when they were fired on by men in an area known as Quarry Path. Following a gun battle, the men ran. Clark was later found suffering from bullet wounds. He was pronounced dead at hospital. MP concerned teenage pregnancies could rise during COVID-19. An opposition member of parliament has expressed concern there could be a rise in teenage pregnancies during this period of closures of schools. Noel Arscott, member of parliament for Clarendon Southwest, raised the concern in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. I believe at the end of this period we're going to have some unwanted pregnancies because of the sheer number of students day to day in the community unsupervised, running around, and therefore we need to find a way even to create either some public education or some kind of presence to address some of these problems that have come out of this new scenario that we have found ourselves in, he declared. Carl Smoodham, minister with responsibility for education, admitted that the issue of unsupervised children is one of the greatest concerns for the ministry. He argued that the issue is also evident because of a lack of parental supervision in many instances. I know as a fact it must be almost impossible to contain those children in their homes. I think it is wishful thinking because there is no parental supervision in many cases, and the teacher cannot be there all the while. They cannot assume the role of the parent, and that is why the interaction of the National Parenting Commission, along with our own counseling staff or guidance counselors and so on, have to play an important role. But we need more of them, he explained. Gun recovered after gunmen shoot at cops in St. James, following an incident on Tuesday in which a police team came under gunfire while on an operation in the community. The St. James police are reporting that an illegal firearm has been seized. The team was reportedly in search of illegal drugs in bushes in Shantytown Paradise in Norwood about 12:30 p.m. when they observed the men in the area. One of the men allegedly opened gunfire at the police team as they escaped. A subsequent search of the area turned up one Taurus P80 9mm pistol fitted with a magazine containing 4 9mm rounds of ammunition. No member of the police team was injured. $300,000 reward for info on killers of 2 children in Denham Town. Member of Parliament for Kingston Western, Desmond McKenzie, says a $300,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of those responsible for the murders of 2 children in the constituency in the past 24 hours. 15-year-old Nyron Taylor, student of Tivoli Comprehensive High School, was killed in Denham Town about 11:30 yesterday morning, and 8-year-old Toya Brown was fatally shot hours later in the said community in what the police believe was a reprisal attack. I am grappling with mixed emotions. I am really heartbroken about these killings, and at the same time I am outraged at just the utter wickedness and bloodthirsty mentality that can cause anyone to wipe 2 innocent children from the face of the earth, Mackenzie said. The police are investigating these incidents, and I want to encourage the people of my constituency, especially those living in Denham Town and Tivoli Gardens, to stand up and be counted and reveal all they know to the authorities. I'm appealing to them to break the shackle of silence and to show their disgust and outrage against these terrorists who commit murder and mayhem and make their lives miserable, he added. I want them to understand that giving information is the best weapon against these evildoers who have deprived Jamaica of 2 children, the future of the country. Let me go further. If you have information and you're afraid to share it with the police, get in touch with me. I will use every resource I have to help to bring these criminals to justice. The MP said both Brown's and Taylor's families will be supported through this traumatic period. Words will never be enough to ease the grief and deep pain that they are feeling. As their member of parliament, I will do all I can at this time. I will be undertaking the funeral expenses and associated matters. so they can focus, even as they mourn on the beautiful memories that Toya and Naron gave them. I can also give the assurance that the decent, honest, hard-working people of the West Kingston family will support them, he vowed. 3 St. Mary communities under 14-day quarantine amid COVID containment effort. The Health Ministry has announced the 14-day quarantine for 3 St. Mary communities after a sharp increase in the number of cases there in the past week. As of 6 o'clock this morning, the communities of Dover, Henfield, and Onoto Bay have been under quarantine. The measure will expire at 6 a.m. on Thursday, May 21, 2020. A total of 13 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in the parish, and the Health Ministry said its investigations show that they had moved about a lot, which increases the risk of exposure to other persons in the communities. Exposed persons in the communities may develop infection and cause spread to other members in the communities, resulting in a rapid increase in the number of positive cases, said a Health Ministry spokesperson in a release. The ministry first imposed a community quarantine in the 7 and 8 miles communities of Bull Bay, St. Andrew, and then Cornpeas Settlement in Clarendon as part of COVID containment measures. Both have since been lifted. It felt like prison. Cruise ship worker happy to be home. It felt like prison. Those are the exact words of Jermaine, who returned to the island yesterday after he was stranded on a cruise ship for 56 days in Southampton, UK. Boy, we're out of prison. It was rough mentally. They treat us good while we're out on the seas, but it took a toll on me because we were just allowed to go and eat and then back in our cabin. It was like being locked in a little box because the cabin is very small, with a chance to communicate with each other. But it is not the same as having real freedom to travel around, he said. Jermaine, who hails from Portland, is among the 115 Jamaicans who were stranded in the UK, who arrived at Kingston's Norman Manley International Airport yesterday evening. The Jamaicans arrived aboard a TUI charter flight. Among the Jamaicans, 75 are ship workers, including 43 of the Marella Discovery 2. Fatigued by circuitous holding voyages, the Jamaicans have been putting pressure on the government to allow them to repatriate after the country shut its borders to incoming passenger traffic on March 24 as part of the coronavirus containment measures. Tristan, who was also on a cruise ship for 3 months, said although he will be placed in quarantine for 14 days, he is elated to return to the land of his birth. Like Jermaine, he stated that he was treated properly, but said he had to turn his hand to make fashion in order to take care of his personal hygiene. There were times that I had to use Fab soap to take a shower, or use baking soda or salt to brush my teeth. I didn't mind though, because I was going to do whatever it took to take care of my personal hygiene. It was challenging mentally and emotionally, but we made it through, he said. It has been a tiring 16 hours for the Jamaicans, who left their ship from 4:30 a.m. UK time to go to the airport for their flight to Jamaica. Up to 9 p.m. last night, some persons were still being processed by immigration staff. The Jamaicans will now be quarantined for 14 days at a North Coast hotel before they are allowed to go home. They were all transported by JUTC buses that were parked outside of the arrival section of the airport. A cohort of 215 stranded Jamaicans in the U.S. are to be repatriated this week. 2 St. James men to face firearm and other charges. An 18-year-old is one of 2 men who have been charged in connection with the seizure of an illegal firearm and lead sheets in Norwood, St. James on Thursday, April 30. 18-year-old Leroy Vassell and 22-year-old mechanic Jermaine Vassell, both of Waterlily Lane in the area, were both charged on Tuesday with illegal possession of firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and possession of identity information. According to the police, the 2 were arrested after a team of officers conducted a search at their home about 12:30 p.m. A Glock 9mm pistol, 18 rounds of ammunition, and several sheets with the names and identity information of persons living overseas were found during the search. The police said the men were charged after they were interviewed in the presence of their attorneys. Their court dates are being finalized. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember, subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.